like, I feel like whitelist can mean a lot of stuff. For instance, when I was reading people's comments on Reddit, I feel like people think that's like whitelist equals crims who have weapons bench. Like I honestly, I'm being serious that I this felt like 90% of people's takes. It was crims who have weapons bench or group that has money printer. Whereas I'm like, well, whitelist is like Burn gets some stuff on a new character he cooks up. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Or like Shatterbox gets some dope stuff in the funhouse / grandma's. I guess what I'm saying is the character Chatterbox having cool stuff in like being rewarded for that RP and having some cool stuff in grandma's or like just something like that's a whitelist, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think what whitelist can also mean is so for me, I'm like, I think maybe like an issue if I was to describe like 3.0 whitelist issues, I would say something like crim focus, progression focus. This is another one, right? Like i.e. thermite, right? Like let's say you want to rob a bank, thermite, you couldn't go and find the right person, right? But I'm like, well, what if you gave whitelist to people that weren't necessarily like on the crim progression route? Okay, what if you made it or oh, and then the other one is like can't be removed, right? Like, oh, once you have this whitelisted business, your character's not going to lose it, right? So, and I'm going to be honest. It was like, it was basically, I feel like 80% of it, maybe not 80, but like 70% of whitelist were CG versus CB. And then eventually Cerberus. Like, I'm going to be honest. Right? So, I mean, for me, when I think of like 4.0 whitelists, if I was to allow whitelists, I'd be like, okay, like, bro, like, I'm sorry. I would have been like, yo, Squeaks, this character, Ramaswamy, is fucking awesome. What do you need for like Ramaswamy? Like, yeah, we're going to get like, what if they were like, yo, Ramaswamy, I don't know, gets a fucking car. I don't know, like gets a, or even like gets a helicopter to get flown around in. I would be like, yeah, that's fucking fine. Right? Like, it's not like, I think the thing is, it's not like Squeaks is going to be like, yo, let me sell this helicopter so I can go buy GPUs and racks. Right? Like, imagine all the crazy stuff that you could give a character like, say, Chatterbox to create RP. Or there's like all sorts of stuff. August Foos gets a mansion, bro. Okay. I'll even go into straight money. Like, I would do like that. I'd be like, August Foos is a millionaire. I think it would be fucking funny if August Foos just comes into the city and he just has millions of dollars. And he always carries around like $50,000 and you can choose to try to rob him or protect him or convince him to give you his money to invest in you. Like, and if you're like, Like, why would you do that? Because it's not an MMO, right? I think it's kind of it's because it's a role play server, and I feel like that, like, you give it to people who are gonna like facilitate interest, like, it's Burn, right? And he's gonna do cool stuff with this. I think I'm not saying, and this is just on the topic of whitelisting. I think it's okay that not everyone needs to work for every single cent that they earn in NoPixel. Because weirdly enough, that actually makes it more like a video game and less. Weirdly enough, that's more like a video game and less like real life. Welcome to real life, guys. There's fucking millionaires. Like in some senses, that the grind makes it more like an MMO and less like real life. There's less like interesting characters, And then, I mean, what I would do is I would extend this to be like, I would extend this to be like James Marco, Will Neff gets 500K or even like 1 million to film a movie in Los Santos. And now you have a role player who doesn't come around as much. He's come around, and he's not gonna take, like, again, it's like, what do we think? Is Will Neff gonna go and be like, actually, let me go buy as many GPUs and racks and start my heist crew? Or is he going to spend the money and hire a film crew, hire actors, actresses, and then for a week, 20 people are working on a film and getting money instead of running G6? And again, I'm not saying that you rely on these systems all the time. I love what NoPixel has built is actually really fucking cool. NoPixel has built this incredible job and work system where anyone can go into the server and start finding progression and finding work. But I think you're missing things like this. I think you're missing things like this, and that's what makes it feel so grindy. Listen, Andy and her Survivor event is literally the breath of fresh air that I'm talking about. But even then, it's it's even kind of hard though, because it's like you have to like submit it to the government and you have to do paperwork. And what happens when it's like stuff that doesn't really make sense? Maybe this one makes sense. Like Will Neff could fly in and go and do all this. But like for me, I'll just be honest. Content creators are lazy, are not lazy. Will Neff is not lazy. I don't want to use the L word. Will Neff is great, but I'm like, bro, why would I not just give him his character access to $1 million and just say that he got producers outside of Los Santos to fund him? Why would I not just do that than like have him go through all this in character stuff? Um, that's my thoughts on some of the like stuff with like NoPixel and stuff. I still think the server's fine. I think they've done a great job, but I just think they, you know, anyways. Let's listen to some lo-fi while we chat. This is the solo Blau podcast, and Blau gives his take. Guys, I think you have to understand, I actually do genuinely believe a lot of the systems they've designed in NoPixel are really good. I just think they're missing some. I think they've made it too grind focused. Said if he won Survivor, he would keep the paintings and give the money back to Andy for her to continue doing events. I love that. But I also do think that is ironic because in character constantly has criticized that Mickey charges so much for his events. Because Mickey does not have state funding for his events, so Mickey charges a bunch for his events so that he can continue to do events. So that is ironic. That is ironic. And yeah, you also have the issue where like there's events and some things that maybe that you're not necessarily always gonna like. You know? Hear me out, Blau. I think it would be WRP if August came back to the server. No millions of dollars. He comes back and reveals to his kids that December and him have been on the run from like tax evasion. Now they're broke. That would enable so much RP, I think. So you're telling me that you want the characters August and December to show up in Los Santos evading because of tax evasion and that they're actually secretly broke and down bad and they've got to start from scratch. So the origin story of every single character in NoPixel 4.0. Oh, let me flip that on you. What if August and December come into the city? And by the way, if you guys want to know the role play for December, it doesn't matter I'll talk to Byrne about this. It doesn't matter if August actually got whitelisted. If Byrne gets whitelisted on August to be a millionaire, August and December are rich. The role play is either they actually do just have a fuck ton of money, or they're not bringing their fucking money to Los Santos. Why the fuck would they keep their money in a Los Santos bank that gets robbed every day? They're rich because then it's a different character. And now they come into the city and they're like, what the fuck is up with this peasant city? Because they're just fucking rich assholes. Yeah, exactly. EK gets it. It's about how you portray it and behave. It doesn't need literal mechanics to support it. Thank you so much. I will say, and by the way, when I say, yeah, having people come in with loads of money, then creating events just keeps the city fresh and people creatively juicing. All I'm saying for something like this, like what if James Marco came into the city and ran an event like this for a week? They film a movie. I'm not saying this doesn't crash the economy. The $1 million that he brings in spread out amongst the 20 people involved is $50,000 each for a week. And it just means that those people aren't grinding G6 or aren't grinding weed for that week. What determines what characters would get this? Make a request to admins. People are like, "Oh my god, but it's going to favor big streamers." Yeah. Yeah. It's a content server. That's just that, like, how do you think prio? Why do you think a lot of big streamers can come in with great prio? It's because it's a content server, and that's a business. People make content. Yeah, I don't really think that's like a bad thing, right? Like, yeah, and again, I think like a lot of these characters are not supposed to be like mainline characters that are involved in like the progression competitive nature of roleplay, you know? Yeah, weirdly, like I guess here's the question. Have you seen Will Neff like do his role like do role play and do scenes? Bro, Will Neff is a but like can you ever see Will Neff genuinely playing James Marco on NoPixel right now? Like answer that. I guess here's the quick question. What would you ever see now? Now ask yourself this: if you told Will Neff, "Hey, we're actually just going to give you your character $1 million, so you don't have to grind for any of the money, and then you can go and put on a fucking movie, or not even a movie, do a fashion show, do whatever the fuck you want with the money. Pitch us an idea for content that you want to do." And he'd probably be like, "Yeah, I'll do that. Oh, I don't have to grind for that shit. Cool, let me do that." Um, the other thing is, other people will never stop grinding, even if grinding is made easy. Uh, I thought they were gonna do this. You could limit work weeks or like limit work hours. Basically, say of the kind of like specific things you just can't work this job. I thought they were gonna do that actually. Was it Tugs that proposed that? The issue is the characters you mentioned would fly in for like a small event and then leave. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it would make a consistent influx of RP. To consistently have people cooking up characters and ideas to come in, I think you just do it like, yeah, do like various things like once or twice a month. That's kind of cool.